What's going on, guys? Welcome to another Review Rogues. My name is Antonio, and we have in the building today, we have Ronnie Orange. Ronnie, what's going on, bro?
What's up, everybody? Happy to be here, finally doing another episode.
That's right, that's right. And we have Enter the Nerd's own Gershon in the building. Gershon, what's going on, man? Good to see you again.
Hey, how you doing? I hope you having a good night.
Yeah, everything is good, man. Everything is good. Hope everything is good with both of you guys. By the way, guys, if you haven't already, please, we have the link in the description of this video. Go check out Enter the Nerds. That's Gershon's page on YouTube. He is covering a wide range of things, especially regarding nerd culture, but it's definitely a lot of interesting things. And I'm a fan of the page, and I hope you guys go give it a click, and we'll give you guys a preview of his page later on in this episode, so you guys could just. So Gershon is gonna give us a preview of it, and yeah, let's get started with the topics that we wanted to touch on today with you guys. WandaVision was I think WandaVision, it's safe to say, had a really good impact on, let's say, not only social media, but just in general. I mean, everywhere I went, whether it was Facebook, whether it was Twitter. WandaVision was the topic, especially when the episodes came out. I just wanted to ask you guys, not necessarily a review for WandaVision, but what do you guys think was the impact on WandaVision? For example, one of the things that I just finished seeing was that The Flash is now asking for a bigger budget. And The Flash normally operates with a $3 million budget per episode. And WandaVision, as a comparison to WandaVision was doing $25 million per episode. Just give me kind of your take. And Gershon, I'll open up with you. What do you think is the impact of WandaVision on superhero shows?
In terms of budget, it kind of doesn't make sense for the CW to increase the budget because they already have HBO Max. If you're going to fight fire with fire, then you fight it with your streaming service. If you look at what WandaVision was, right? WandaVision made obscure characters have popularity, which is really what mainstream media is supposed to do. For example, as you know, I'm an avid comic book reader. But there are characters that comic book readers we weren't really clamoring for, but when they put some of these characters onto the mainstream, they went, "Oh my God, I love them." One of them being Green Arrow. A whole bunch of people were like, "My God, Green Arrow, we need a show." But as soon as it came out, people were like, "Oh, well, you know, it's kind of cool." You have, not saying that Scarlet Witch wasn't, we didn't know about her. She wasn't a prominent character in X-Men, but this made her and Vision more mainstream to the audience.
Absolutely.
So, to answer your question about two things. Number one, the impact of shows like WandaVision give the chance for obscure characters to now be more mainstream. That's great. As far as the budget, I think if the Flash, if on CW, if the reason why they're asking, I didn't read anything about this, but if they're asking for more based on what WandaVision is doing, that's backwards. Because HBO Max already you have a streaming service.
Right.
Just funnel your shows on there where clearly the budget could be different because there's no commercials and stuff like that. You could just do it differently. But if you're like, let's put more money here to this, what is it? How much watch time are we getting? About 30 something minutes, 40 minutes, and 15 to 20 minutes of commercials. And you have to follow the guidelines of whatever the network is telling you need to follow. That doesn't make any sense. You could go all out. Hell, HBO Max can actually do a whole, they say, almost rated R type of thing. Warner Brothers can do that. I think the big opportunity that Warner Brothers should do, looking at WandaVision, they should go, not what did they do, but what couldn't they do? Because Disney cannot do certain things because they're a publicly owned company, which has shareholders who go, "You better not put that on here. You better not do that." And Warner Brothers is like, "Hold on, we can make an R-rated movie right now. We can have something gory right now," and they can't do it. So yeah, as far as that, the effect of the characters, like being able to execute something like that and show that yes, we can actually have a show that ties into an overall film cinematic universe. I'm down, absolutely down with that. I love that idea.
Yeah.
As far as how that affects everything else
Yeah.
going forward, it's kind of strange. Warner Brothers just needs to just combat it with their own HBO Max, not go, well, we'll put more money into a series that people have already fallen off of, because like you want more money, like the viewership of Glass has gone down considerably.
Right.
Considerably.
It's
That wouldn't make
interesting.
any sense.
You just mentioned something and I just popped up in my head right now. I'm not sure if this character is DC or not, but it's definitely something that belongs in HBO. And wouldn't it be a great time to bring back Spawn now and have like a Spawn show?
Are they doing a movie still?
Image Comics.
Okay.
Yes, that
Yeah.
would be it would be excellent, especially because for a lot of reasons. Number one, there isn't anything like him right now, and
No.
he is actually the longest running, most successful Black hero in independent comics. There has never been anything like him.
Wow.
Like him. People don't know that, but if in terms of having a solo run that lasts about 20 years, yeah, that hasn't been done before. So yes, that's something that should happen. And yes, to your point, Ronnie, they are supposedly making a movie, and Todd McFarlane wanted to direct it. Why? I don't know. He's never directed anything
right?
before.
Right. I think he maybe just doesn't want, past, different past Spawn shows or whatever, I guess, the movie. I guess he didn't like how that was portrayed in that last movie. I really like that movie though, with John Leguizamo and who's the guy, Kai?
Michael J. White.
Michael J. White. That was really good. That was a good movie.
For its time, right?
For its time, exactly. I think they would kill it if it was like now. Yeah, I agree.
That's the thing, though. It's not really about.
Maybe we gotta get the Spawn buzz going on, and this is the perfect time to do it.
That's the thing. Like, I feel like with these studios is everybody knows the interesting thing to do, but they're doing what they think is gonna just reach a wider audience and just.
A rated R Spawn would be freaking crazy, but yeah. Let's go back, Ronnie. What about in terms of the impact again? What did you think about like the fact that they had weekly episodes and it wasn't just all like you're watching in one bunch, and it had, I don't know if you noticed this, I did, I'm sure you guys did, but it had people talking about it all at the same time, and I feel like it was because of the weekly episodes and it wasn't releasing everything at once.
So I think overall the impact it's going to have and has had, it's definitely a positive one. Definitely a positive one. Just because, I put this in perspective. I haven't seen a Marvel show. Like, I kind of stopped really looking forward to Marvel stuff after maybe after Endgame. Maybe the second Spider-Man movie, Far From Home, but definitely after Endgame. And you guys kept hearing me. Like, I'm sure, Gashawn, you remember I was always like, yo, I don't know if I want to try this show. Like, I'm tired of superheroes for now or whatever. But, I decided to give it a try because people were talking about it so much. So I started around episode 5, and the show overall, like, I like the whole weekly episodic thing again. I hope shows start doing that again, because I feel that's one thing that's really important for a show to succeed is you need to have that continuous engagement with the fans. Like, every week they're talking about it or making theories or trying to figure out what's going on. So
I think it loses value, or show loses value when you're like able to just binge watch everything and you're
not always, because
let me just explain this. It's because I feel like it does, because you could dissect an episode every week. You could maybe go watch the episode again. If you binge watch something, you're watching 3, 4, 5 episodes in a row, and you're not gonna go back to episode 1 and just like look it over. You might do that. You might, after you watch the entire show, go over and look it over, see maybe you missed anything. But just in my opinion, every time that I've binge watched something, I don't go back to that episode. Where I found it in WandaVision, found it going back maybe not every episode, but there were some episodes where I did go back just to watch this, maybe see if I understood something. And even watching it with Letier, you know, she caught on because she watched the episode before me, and then when she watched it with me, she was like, "Oh, I missed that little detail," and she caught it again. And I think that you just don't do that when you have all these episodes available to you.
But
I also feel, jumping in. I also feel like just going this route for a show like this is really important, just because it's just one little tiny bit in the MCU. So there's so many like Easter eggs that popped out throughout these 9 episodes that connect to like different movies, that you have to like kind of like take that time to like watch it, let it sink in, and then also like enjoy being able to like theorize for like what's gonna happen next for like 7 days before the next one. So it just builds on like the excitement of being able to like enjoy a show like this.
I feel like it really worked for this show just because it depends on what your kind of show you have, you know, like obviously this show in the very beginning, it was very like, you know, obviously something's off, you know, this whole paradise or whatever, it's not legit. So right from the jump, it had that mysterious tone where if you wanted to know what was going on, you wanted to know like the reason why I really wanted to know what was going on is because the themes the show was dealing, the themes that the show was dealing with, which was death, you know, how was Wanda dealing with that? And it's a serious theme to tackle. They did well. That's what kept me coming back. But to your main point about what you said, that, you know, it benefits shows or doesn't benefit depending on how they run. If I had started watching the show from the jump, like from episode 1, and then waited a week, I definitely wouldn't.
You would have stopped watching it, right?
I would have stopped because already at episode 3, I was like, you know, like, okay, I get the sitcom thing, like it works and everything, but it was very slow at the beginning. It was like episode 4 or so where things, you know, started to take a turn. But one thing I want to really address about the impact of the show is I just hope, and I don't know if maybe they went through reshoots or something, but there's a vast difference between like the first half of the show and the second half. Like the first half was a lot more, you know, the dialogue was obviously more important, I feel. And they portrayed that very well. Like all the acting was great in the show.
Amazing acting in the show. Amazing.
Yeah, for sure. And
that was the strongest point in the part in the show was actually the acting.
Which is so important for them to pull that off correctly, because in the setting they were, it could have easily just been like, it's not working, or this is weird or cheesy or whatever. So
it had to have
them for that. They all did a great job acting. But for me, I don't want shows to follow this show. It's just a very picky worry in my opinion, but it's that writing thing. Like you could have the best universe, the best, you know, characters, more overpowered characters, but if the writing isn't great, or even more importantly, in my opinion, the in this show, Agatha was a really weak antagonist in my opinion. Like
I agree.
She I don't know how she is in the comics or anything, but it became really generic in the beginning. I forget the actress's name again, but I was stunned to see her there. I'm like, it was the chick from Step Brothers, like she's funny as hell, and she was funny. She got all serious. I guess that range, or I don't know if it's the direction they told her to take or the direction she wanted to take, but it was really obvious and cliche. And I was just like, oh, it's just another CGI fight at the end. Like I was just like, okay, let's speed this up. Like I want to see where they're gonna go. You know what I mean?
Wow, I didn't even think about that. I agree.
Yeah, I just hope shows don't.
I wanted that to keep like I was not interested in seeing the fights at all. I was just like, all right, let's wrap this up. I kind of want to see what happens after the fights.
Yeah, because it wasn't anything we haven't seen before, you know. And then we saw the 2 Visions fight, and then one of them just said, "I am Vision," and was never seen again. Like I don't know.
That was my biggest complaint about this show was like,
when
here's the thing. I am coming from a mind that does know the source material. However, I don't let that get in the way of me looking at something with fresh eyes. Like, I can do both. However, I'm not going to fault myself for comparing these characters to where they've existed
the actual
for
source.
the most common denominator of their existence, right? Which is in the comic book, right?
Right.
Now, when I look at this show, the first four episodes, I'll say, were really meant for people like me. And the reason why is because they made a whole bunch of Easter eggs and references that are comic book.
Mm-hmm.
Like comic book references that general would know, which is why you notice most of the complaints in the first, I don't understand what's going on. Because they weren't catering to them at first, right? Mm-hmm. Then around episode 5, when they brought Pietro in and the tone shift, it was like, okay, now we're bringing you in, everyone who watched the movies and stuff like that. And then that's when like the talk started ramping up. I don't have a problem with that. My problem is storytelling, like what Ronnie just said, like it needs to be succinct here. You got to get to a point where you can't think the audience is a retard. Okay, let me just put it that way. You can't think the audience is retarded.
Yeah.
Like, okay, let me give you an example of WandaVision. The directors of WandaVision thinking we are absolutely stupid, right? There is a scene with Pietro and Monica Rambeau, right?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
They're in this attic, right?
I know what you're going.
So she tries to escape, and he's way too fast. This is Pietro thing, and then plucks her. Don't know where he got that power from to pluck her across the room, but whatever, right? In that same room, not that long after that, she can body slam him because for some reason now he's too slow to react to that, even though she couldn't touch him before, and apparently wasn't even strong. Hello, it was the same. It's the same show. It's the same show. Are we?
A matter of seconds.
What happened to that? What happened to that continuity, right? And why do certain characters do what they do? I don't care if you've ever watched a comic book movie or anything. A villain, the movie, like the protagonist is only as good as the antagonist because the motivation.
100%.
What's the motivation, right? When Agnes goes, how'd you do it? But then goes to explain exactly how Wanda did it.
Yeah.
Which one is it? You ask, I don't know how you did it. But then you go on to explain the exact nature of her powers. You know how she did it.
Right.
You told
right.
her
exactly
how she did it.
Yeah, that was what's that word that you love using, Ronnie?
That was what?
When they make like holes on the plot and stuff like that.
Plot holes?
Yeah, how did I forget that? But yeah, that was a crazy big plot hole right there, man. And yeah, I didn't even think about that, but that's actually pretty funny.
Honestly, like I gotta just let me interject real quick. Like,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, do it, man.
This show could have, like that landing, they did not stick it. They could have literally just, the whole show could have been about Wanda's psyche and how she deals with this and like who she hurts from,
right.
the pain she's dealing with. Agatha did not need to be there. You know, like it was cool. It was cool. She was there explaining the Scarlet Witch stuff, but one thing you hear a lot in a lot of reviews is show don't tell. You know what I mean? Like they I guess they showed her at the end, but at the same time it's like you're supposed to fear this Scarlet Witch character, and the whole time I'm just like, yo, there's something on the line. You know what I mean?
Didn't need to be there. Agatha didn't need to be there. They just should have done it in the way. For example, not everything has to be exactly like it is in the comic, right?
Right.
But some things in the comics are better. For example, she was Scarlet Witch's teacher. She taught her everything about her powers, as well as keeping her emotionally at bay. So what would have been the alternative, guys? The alternative would have been she's messed up. Scarlet Witch is out there, messing with the fabric of reality, and Agatha is the only one keeping her at bay. And eventually, when she realizes that none of it is real, Wanda, because let's just say, instead of making someone the reluctant villain, they just make Scarlet Witch. What if the series just ended with Wanda just going batshit crazy.
That's what I'm saying.
And killing Agatha, doing this, and then the series ends with her version of reality, not just in Westview, but the entire world is the way she wants it to be. And now that truly sets up Multiverse of Madness, because she's an actual villain. Right now, they set her up as a mom who just really wants her kids back. Really wants this, and she's willing to do.
I really think that they messed up by not going there out. That's what I was like pretty sure. I was like, oh my God, they're geniuses. They're setting her up as a villain. And basically she is going to be the reason why phase 4 of the MCU happens. Like everyone, all the Avengers are going to be like trying to go against her. And the way that it ended was like, it was good. I get what they did, but it just doesn't give me any insight onto where they're trying to go. It didn't really set anything up for me. Like, I really think if they would have just like taken her full Scarlet Witch and made her the bad guy, even if later she kumbayas with the Avengers and ends up being an Avenger again, that would have been fine. But
she's a mental illness. In the comics, her powers are predicated on her mental health. She's not okay. So it might not be evil by way of being evil, but she's not well. So if you just, and that would have been another subplot, right? Not just grief, but grief making people do things that they normally would not do.
And it would have related to the times. It would have been perfect.
Yeah, they did drop the ball. I guess they dropped the ball in the conclusion of that.
Yeah, real quick. I know this is not
a
review, but
go ahead.
What overall score would y'all give WandaVision? No decimals, just straight up out of 10. And what do you think Captain Falcon and Winter Soldier is gonna get?
I think WandaVision gets an 8 in my opinion. Maybe a 7.5. Maybe 7.5 would be better. I'm gonna say this. It's funny because at the beginning of it, when I was, just giving my comment about it, I was like, listen, this show is good. It's just not that good. Everybody was like, no, this show is amazing.
You were like trash.
But it was hyperbole. It was hyperbole. I said trash, but at the end of the day, the show isn't trash. But it's not what I meant to say was, and this is for everybody who's gonna watch this, it's not as good as you guys are selling it to be. Just because the first 2 episodes were really bad and the show picked up afterwards doesn't mean it's a really good show. It's a good show. It's not a really good show.
It picked up a little bit, man. Like the whole.
I think no.
Like no, it picked up.
The first 2 episodes.
No, I'm saying it went like this, and then brutal. It went like that, and then it went down. Like this whole US.
Well, here's the thing. To me personally, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't mind the last episode. I was like, okay, to me, it was satisfying. I wasn't expecting much from it. From the whole show, I'm not expecting much from it. So to me, it was a satisfying end. It was a satisfying resolution, to be honest. That's why I'm like, all right. There were so many people, though. There were so many people that sorry, Sean. There were so many people that were so disappointed from the end. And I'm just like, dude, it's crazy. Social media blew up. Like, what the was this? And I'm just like, oh, well.
There was also a lot. Like,
you guys put a lot of expectations on this.
I was literally on Twitter 5 minutes ago, and people were still like, "Oh, no WandaVision this week." I'm like,
they got the Agatha winking. It's like or whatever.
They were literally like, "Oh, I love the show. The finale was crazy." I'm like, "Yo, more power to you," but
yeah.
Like, go ahead, Gershon. Give us your score on the. Oh, and Falcon and Winter Soldier, Tone. What do you think it's gonna be?
Yeah, go with that, Tone.
I think this is gonna be. It's okay. Listen, again, I came into this with hey, I'm excited for it. After hearing Gashawn, I'm like, let's go. Like, this shit better be good. That's pretty much it. That's all I gotta say with that.
Okay, fair enough.
Gashawn, go ahead.
Now, I'm gonna give it
trash.
A 6. Here's why.
A 6. Okay.
Here's why.
It's okay.
It gets 6 based off of sheer creativity that they did to do that theme when it came to telling a story throughout the decades of television. That was creative because that wasn't in the comic, but I understood. And those 2 episodes, I knew people like you, people who don't know the comic, were not gonna like that I actually said it. I remember I told my wife, I was like, look, most people, they're going to feel very alienated by these first few episodes. And I knew it.
Told me.
I knew it. I was like, yo, but they were talking to people who like know how Vision came to be and stuff. They threw a whole bunch of weird like Easter eggs out there. And I'm like, damn. But then it's actually funny. So I liked it. And then when everything's supposed to wrap up, you know, they introduce Pietro and then they give Monica powers because she walked through the hex. And Jimmy Woo, who in the comics is a freaking awesome character, he leads his own team called Agents of Atlas. And here he's just like almost a more masculine version of the character he played in The Office. Like, it's like it. All those things all together were just like, ugh. So like the more it went down, I was like, come on. And some people just didn't pay attention. So remember how I told you that Marvel was like, yo, man, people watching must be VTOS. It turns out they might have been kind of right, because when you see people like just not like paying attention to like I told you before, like the motivations, like when you say, look, Vision said, he was like, I have to kill Wanda, right?
Right.
Then all of a sudden he sees Vision, must destroy Vision.
Yeah.
Why? If you kill Wanda, Vision's gone.
Vision dies.
Because Vision is not real.
Exactly.
Yo, also, that the Vision from the fake reality didn't tell Wanda shit about the Vision, the new one.
Right, the Spectral Vision.
Yeah, so like he could have like actually told her, yeah, yo, there's a real.
Yo, by the way, I'm good to go. I'm somewhere around there trying to find my.
Yeah, like yo, he has no memories. Go find me. You know what I mean? But no, he was just like, all right, do your thing, man.
Yeah. Yo, listen, I get it. There was a lot of plot holes again with this. So yeah, I get it. That's
six for the show because it didn't suck. The creativity, the acting was superb.
Amazing.
The chemistry between Wanda and Vision,
really
I believe every scene.
Yes.
Every scene. And
yes,
they showed their range incredibly.
Exactly.
So they had to go from like cheesy,
yes,
reality,
that's exactly what I was thinking. As an actor, yes, that's what I was thinking. Like their range is freaking crazy. Out of control.
That's if anything, their stock as actors and actresses just went up. Like anyone could see that and go like, oh,
these guys can do anything. Yes.
There were a lot of positive things. But in the end of the day, have you ever watched the show Lost?
No.
Have you watched? I know you watched Game of Thrones, right?
Right.
Game of Thrones. Correct me if I'm wrong here. Up until the last season, and maybe actually the last three
seasons before that,
you know what I mean?
Right.
Could have been considered one of the greatest shows in human history.
Right. To be honest, yeah.
That is the kind of like cultural following it had.
Yes.
But do you see what happens when you don't stick the landing?
Yeah.
And do you see how hard it is for people to talk about Game of Thrones to this day? People are just like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Like, damn it, Daenerys.
I still have a bitter taste in my mouth every time I hear the word Game of Thrones. I'm like,
for another time. Like I feel like I have to. I'm still hurting over that, man. Still hurting.
See?
I still think it's the best show. I think it's still the best series, to be honest.
It's a whole nother video because I got a lot to say. I don't know if that's the best show anymore, man.
Let's not even get into it.
Nah, let's go. Let's wrap this up, guys. Let's wrap this up.
I'm gonna give you my rating real quick.
Go ahead, Ronnie.
WandaVision, man. Again, like Rashawn said, the acting was great. But I care more about the writing and who these characters are, and not a setup to something else. You know what I mean? So I'm borderlining between a 6 and a 7. I thought the more I think about it, I want to give it a 5, but I'll give it a 6 because, dude, I could tell you, okay, should you watch it? If you know who the characters are, and you want a different perspective on them, and you want to know what happened with Vision, because watching the show, you're like, okay, Vision's dead. What's going on? If you're interested in that, yes. If you don't if you a casual viewer of comic book movies, or if you don't really care, I wouldn't recommend it. You know what I mean? Like it's okay, but the ending was so flat. For me, what I care about most, and I stick by this forever in almost any story, is the antagonist, because the hero is only as good as the villain. If the villain is whack, if there's no, conflict or anything, why should I care? You know what I mean?
And that's one thing that, if we want to go back to this, is that's one thing that DC actually maybe had the advantage over Marvel, is that they've done their villains even better than their own superheroes, more than the main characters. So, like the Joker. No, the Joker, dude, the Joker was incredible in The Dark Knight.
Yo, I mean, but they've had a lot worse villains, man.
No, but the Joker itself. Yeah. No, but the different Jokers, if you want to think about it, they're more interesting than main characters than the superheroes themselves.
Are we talking about in recent history?
Well, the Joaquin Phoenix Joker.
He's not really a villain, though.
Oh, okay.
He's not really
no. Well, he's not a villain. He's not a villain in that movie. He's the protagonist. He's the actual.
Bro, I'm talking about in the setting of like a one movie where this is
there's both
the hero, this is the conflict. You know what I mean? Like the villain has to be better. It has to intrigue me. It has to give you a reason to care. You know what I mean?
Like, bad. I'm gonna say this. Zod was not bad.
He was not. I was literally thinking about him right now.
They shouldn't kill him.
Zod was great. He was another Superman. He just had a different ideology.
Why'd you kill him?
It created like a really, like what can Superman really do? He had to kill him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's always about the villains, and WandaVision, Agatha, she was entertaining as hell.
I agree.
The whole reveal.
She should have not been in it. I agree with that.
No, she could have been in it, but it could have just been about Scarlet Witch. Like Agatha just. It was just another CGI struggle for her to get over. That's all it was.
I think it would have been fine with just like WandaVision fighting like the sword CEO, president, whatever the hell he was, and him just trying to disrupt everything.
Like, he had no reason to be there.
Tone.
Oh my God. You remember?
Man. Hold on, you just got me. You remember her engineer friend that was supposed to come, the aerospace engineer?
Yeah.
And it was just some random lady who was like, I got you a cart. You should be able to go through. You should be able to go through the hex, right? And people are sitting there like, everybody who's like a casual fan, like, is she something that's doing a comic? They over here doing their research and like, oh shit, she ain't got nothing to do with anything. Why did they tease this character? Because they wanted you to speculate and be like, is it Blue Marvel? Is it Mr. Fantastic?
Yo, let me tell you something, man. Yo, real quick, Gershon, because I'm glad you brought that scene up, because scenes like that entire scene where
you build it all up for nothing.
Giant metal moon space car comes out, and they're like, all right, we're gonna get through it. From the jump, I was like, yo, this is WandaVision. I don't care about none of this. That's one. And then just for that car to go away and for her to walk through the portal, that scene right there almost made me stop watching it. And it's just like, what? Like, I don't know who. I don't know like the backstory in the comics as to who she might be. Like, I know you've explained it a bit, but for a casual viewer, I would imagine they would just be like, yo, what is this? Like, that's why my score is so low, because writing like in scenes like that brings it down so much. Like,
but here's the thing, she's not in the comic. They made her up just to bring the cart, right? Mm-hmm. So I asked somebody, I said, why do you think they did that? They were like, oh, well, perhaps they just wanted to have, another woman in an important role. And I go, what about in the comic, the actual leader of SWORD is a woman named Abigail Brand. She got long green hair. She's half alien. She looks cool. And they don't have her in his. And who do they put instead? Tyler Hayward, who also doesn't exist. He's literally just in the show to be a dick. That's really what it was. He was just there to be like
inclusions like that and writing like that does not get a good score. Like, I really do feel it's a lot of hype, and you like what you like, but personally, I like this show. It's not anywhere near something I would recommend. Like, I could name hundreds of other shows before I'm like, yo, you should try WandaVision. You know, like it's definitely it's entertaining. My expectations high with the writing in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like minus the I was getting a little tired of the sitcom stuff, but the when things got real, when things got serious, I was like, oh my god, like I want to know, is she gonna like just lose it? Like, where are her kids? I know that she goes crazy and becomes a villain, but yo, like the villain became Agatha, not Wanda. So I was just like, I'm good.
Bro,
yeah.
In the last 5 minutes, when Monica says, hey, they'll never know what you gave up for them. Gave up? You held me hostage.
Exactly.
Why would I care about what your imaginary kids and your dead husband? You held me hostage. Why would I care about what happened to your life?
That was weird. That was weird, man. Anyhow, there's so much weird shit about this. Man. We could go on and on about that. Let me wrap this up. Krishan, real quick before we close this up, give me a little bit about Enter the Nerd for people here watching this video.
All right, cool. Well, Casey, I've known I'm an avid comic book reader, and I know there's a lot of people who aren't. So the point of my channel is being able to kind of educate people. I welcome anyone who's a casual fan. There's nothing wrong with being a casual fan. I also like, if you don't want to be one and you want to actually get a chance to learn about some of these comic book characters, novels, anime, whatever, I like to give a little bit of deeper insight, especially on some more obscure characters. Obviously, my channel is very, very new, so I'm still building that up, and you're going to see more and more videos that talk about characters in particular. But yeah, that's really what it is. And I'm going to have some fitness stuff on there as well. Tons of cool stuff. Wrestling, I cover UFC and stuff a lot. So if any of those fall into your wheelhouse, this will be a good channel for you.
Guys, for Ronnie Orich, for Latier, who's producing this, for Gershon, and me, Antonio, I'm going to say, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, drop it in the comments. Please follow this video. And yeah, looking forward to more of the products. Gentlemen, thank you again so much for being with me. Hopefully, we'll definitely meet up again, and we'll do this again.
Anytime.